Hey, good morning. Good to see y'all guys. It's Sean here from Voices from the Dirt Road. It's so good to see you this morning. Today, we got an awesome show for you. But let me tell you something. Today, we're going to do this show in 30 minutes. And the reason why we're doing it in 30 minutes, because I got to get outside before the rain comes to take care of the cows and my staff and others. Hey, it's summer. Summer camps is just about over, and they got to get somewhere and pick up kids. So that is the real world that we're actually playing in. So just like y'all guys, we actually live in the real world, but we do want to bring you some great information that's actually happened in the world of agriculture this morning. So with that being said, let me just orient you to our stool just real quick. As y'all guys know, every week we focus, and it continues to be true, we focus on this stool. We talk about livestock, we talk about row crop, we talk about forestry, we talk about the USDA, but then ultimately we talk about where is the farm bill. And as I go on to tell you up top, the farm bill has not moved much from last week. And I don't think it's going to move too much because of some things that they're trying to work on in DC, but I'll talk more about that a little bit later. If I didn't say it, let me say it now. This is our 37th episode. So I just want to thank everybody for supporting us and continue to follow us. And hopefully the information that we give you is very helpful to what you're trying to understand when it comes to agriculture, regardless if you live on a farm or not. So with that, let's jump right on into this show today. With that being said, there's a lot of things going on in the world of agriculture, and one of the biggest areas this week that we're going to talk about is on when it comes to livestock. Y'all guys know that I personally was raised on a farm in Southwest Georgia where we had livestock, row crops, and the whole 9 yards. But I was the kid who just loved working with the cows. And after 40 years of being in the military, I got to my dream to own my own cattle farm. And now we run a cow-calf operation and looking to diversify as much as possible here on the farm. So with that being said, the status of the cattle herd here in the United States is the smallest it has been in 75 years. With that being said, that is putting unbelievable pressure on a couple of things. One, making sure that we actually have enough beef to feed the American people and the world. But on top of that, because of the amount of cattle is so small, from a farmer point of view, now we're finally making some money when it comes to selling our cows in the cow-calf operation. However, on the flip side of the coin, on the consumer side of it, it's very, very high prices when you go to the grocery store. So right now, we are in that particular world where the farmer like myself or the rancher or producer like myself is happy, but on the flip side of the coin, the consumer is not too happy. What I can say that the consumer is still sticking with our beef farmers because of the quality of the beef that we're producing. But at some point, something is going to have to give. And when I say that, it gets into a little bit of a situation where here on my farm, we are looking at doing a couple of things of keeping heifers back, try to grow the herd, but we also talking about farm to table. The problem that I'm running into with farm to table is just here in my particular area, we're struggling trying to find a beef processor that is actually USDA certified. We do have some beef processors here in my area. However, it is a long wait to get a cow or animal into it and to get processed, which doesn't actually fit anybody's business model. Because if you're going to go to farm to table, that means farm to table means that you can go to a website, pick what cow you want or what animal you want, the cuts, the whole 9 yards. Then it goes to a processor. And then from there, you can either have it shipped to you or you can go pick it up. But it's all done under the USDA so that you can make sure that the meat is good to go. With that being said, because we have this, the United States or the USDA is trying to address this problem. And they actually have started a new program called the Spur thing, and it's strengthening beef processing. So the good thing about strengthening beef processing is they have put $5 million into this. This is a pilot program, but they have put $5 million into this program to try to take existing small processing locations and actually help them improve their stuff so they can get certified to be have the USDA stamp on it. With that being said, hopefully we're going to be able to get a more capacity of beef directly from the farm to the consumer. This beef that I'm talking about is not the beef that you're going to see in Walmart or Publix and all those kind of things. This is helping that farmer develop their businesses or their lines of effort where you can buy meat directly from the farmer and go from there. A lot of people out here now likes to know, where did the animal actually come from? And I think this is a very good thing for us. But we're going to see how this pilot program plays out. As of right now, it's in, I think, 26 different states. And Georgia is not one of those states that's directly on the list, but meat processing locations here in the state of Georgia can apply. And I encourage you to go to the Georgia agriculture page to get more information on that. So that's where we're at when it comes to the process. And we'll talk more about this as time go on, because, many farmers are concerned about it or want to get more involved in farm to table, but you got to have somebody that's going to be able to process the meat and make sure the meat is cut the right way and is clean and safe for the consumer. The other big thing that's going on here in the United States is we have new updates when it comes to the new screwworm. And as you can see here, one of the couple things I just want to bring to your attention. Now we have 39 cases. So it is spreading, but it's not spreading as fast. So that's a good thing. It's still in Texas, still in New Mexico. But one of the key things I just want to bring to your attention is this is as of the 16th, okay? This was as of the 16th. But one of the key things I want to bring to your attention, you see the graph that's on the screen now that you can see? You can actually go to the USDA webpage and actually pull this for yourself to actually see. And I think that is the takeaway that I wanted to make sure that you are aware of, that you can get this information real time yourself, because right now it's only 13 cases that are active, 26 of them are or have been dealt with. That simply means, you remember last week, we actually showed the process of them putting out the sterile flies and all that. So it's actually working, and hopefully here in a few more weeks, they'll have this issue completely taken care of, and we won't have to be worried about it anymore. But again, I want to emphasize that this particular screwworm, yes, it will hurt your animals and pets and all those kind of things. But when it comes to beef or chicken or whatever, it has no effect on the meat that goes into to consumption that we eat every day. However, we do need to make sure we get our hands around the screwworm problem. Now, I know I'm moving pretty fast on you, but like I said, this is real world. Let me just take a little bit more of this coffee here, because I'm trying not to cough because outside we've been getting rain, we getting super hot, the whole 9 yards, and I done messed around and caught a cold. So I'm going to try to do this entire show without coughing. If I pull that off, boy, I should get a Grammy or something. I don't know, or Emmy. I don't know what they give out, but I should get something. Well, the next area that I just want to bring to your attention today, and we'll do a deep dive in on this, and I'm excited about it because this is what we do on our farm, and there's many other farmers that are doing it throughout the United States, and specifically here in Georgia, and that's called regenerative ag. And with that regenerative ag, it is where you actually move your cattle around on the farm. It's not organic, but it is where you actually move the cows around. You treat them with respect and all those kind of things. But before I get too deep in it, let me just take a break and let the team, let's play the video, and then I'll come back on the other side.
This executive order is on regenerative farming. It places an emphasis on modernizing agriculture through things like chemical research and public-private. The executive order also states that these measures should lower input costs for farmers, which is one of the biggest headaches right now. Now, we spoke with experts in regenerative agriculture about this order, and they say that they're grateful for the official nod to their work.
We've been involved in a project with Nature Conservancy and many other organizations to see what are the barriers to greater adoption of these practices, and put together a roadmap document that can help solve those problems along the way. The group that convened sees retail agronomists as the pathway to get to growers because it's a trusted relationship that already exists. So it's been a really positive development from that standpoint.
For those that are well versed with regen and have experienced in seeing the positive results, it's really encouraging to see folks recognize that and implement a policy to direct us to a better future.
Both experts also have their doubts. The executive director of the Soil Health Academy says that he's not sure how successful this will be, while the president and the CEO of the Ag Retailers Association believes that there are some things in this executive order that don't belong.
The things that give us concern are things that were pretty obviously cut and pasted from the MAHA report. And MAHA is mentioned several times in the executive order. Things like studying cumulative effects, which is already covered under FIFRA. Things like looking at desiccation, which is an extremely minor use in some parts of the country, also covered by FIFRA.
We have quite a track history of conservation efforts in our country that haven't necessarily achieved our goals. So as far as the implementation of the policy, I don't really have concerns about that, but whether or not it will achieve our outcomes will yet to be seen.
The executive order does not state a timeline for when these priorities will happen, and it also does not state specific goals. So, for example, how much farmland it aims to change to regenerative farmland.
Yeah, as you can see there, regenerative ag is something that has been around, but now it looks like our federal government, USDA, the president just signed an executive order that they're trying to put a little bit more emphasis onto it. It's $700 million that the NRCS currently has. Farmers can go and sign up, and what the video was showing was on the row crop side of it. However, this is also happening when it comes to the livestock side of it, regardless if it's sheep or cattle or whatever. Give you a prime example here on my farm. We actually run a regenerative ag farm. That means that we're making sure that we move the cattle around. We're making sure that we focus on the soil versus everything else. Everything else helps us make better soil, because if you're in the cattle business, I think any cattleman will tell you, if you don't have grass, you can't have cows. So with that being said, I am happy to let y'all guys know that I am part of this study of this program. It's called the CSP program. I think we're going to put CSP up on the table there on the screen, as you can see. But the key piece is it's all about focusing in on your pastures, focusing on the land, focusing on the soil to actually try to keep it as good as possible, not putting as many chemicals out there and all of those things. So the program, like I've talked about here, has $700 million put into it. It's a pilot program. That simply means that you're going to fill out some paperwork. Yes, I have to fill out some paperwork. It's not over the top. It's the same thing that I do every day. And when I leave out of here today, I'll walk outside, check on the cows, and move them to a different pallet. And then from that, I'll maybe see how much grass they ate and all those kind of things. Nothing overbearing. The key piece I want to let you know is 400 million of it goes to row crop, and then 300 million goes to livestock, or what I do on my side. So the government is the president and the federal government is saying, okay, let's see, can we actually help our farmers out and move more farmers into regenerative ag. Regenerative ag is kind of the way that I describe it is you have organic, regenerative ag, and then you have just normal everyday agriculture that you see. All of those areas of agriculture is just fine. It's up to the farmer to pick which one they want to work in. And oh, by the way, many farmers may have a portion of their farm that's in organic. Another portion they're doing is regenerative ag, and then another portion is still the traditional. All is right. Nothing's wrong with it. It's just up to the farmer. But the other piece I want to make sure that you're tracking when you're talking about regenerative ag is now on the side of keeping cattle on the farm and treating them with respect and all those kind of things. So a couple of things now is out there that USDA has been pushing to us on NRCS, and that's actually rotating your cattle around, having cross fencing, having versus collars, GPS collars. And I just wanted to walk you through a couple of things with that. Since we have moved into this regenerative ag, and the amount of cattle is so small, we have made the decision this year to keep all of our heifers back and continue to grow our herd that way versus going out into the sale barns or going to a sale and trying to buy some additional cattle. As you know, cattle is very expensive right now. So let me kind of walk you through what we're doing on my personal farm. Let me talk the cross fencing first. So if you look at that particular picture right there, you can see those fences there that's in the background. And then there's like a little bitty thing you can see way over there. I apologize for the picture. That's a waterer. And the way it's set up is that the cows continue to move from pallet to pallet. The only thing I have to do this morning is walk out there, open the gate and say, come on, girls. They are trained to walk through. No stress, no screaming, no nothing. And here is a better picture for you. As you can see there is the fence that cross fence or actually split the field or the pasture into two. And then as you look further up there, you see a yellow top thing. You can barely see it. That is the waterer. With that being said, and I'll use this picture a little bit. This picture here is a picture of my calves or my heifers that are in my heifer development program. So these calves here now have been weaned off their mothers. On top of that, they're actually getting grain, but on top of that, they have access to grass and they have access to clean water. But on top of that, they are learning how to do the rotation. And with the waterer, if you look closely, I know you can barely see it, the balls that usually sit on the top of it that they push down with their nose, they still don't know how to do that. So we got that off so they can just drink the water. But as they get bigger, they in the heifer development program, not only are they be gaining weight, but they will also be learning the routine of the farm so that a year to 2 years from now, when they join the herd back, they understand everything. The other piece that I want to at least bring to your attention that if you have a program like this and you're trying to do it whatever way you're trying to do it, but on ours, every last one of those heifers that you see in that picture have now went through genetic testing with their DNA, and it comes back and it tells us which one of the calves is going to be calving ease, but on top of that, which one of them going to produce the best meat, best steaks, and all those things. With that being said, that is how we'll make our decision on which one of those calves stay on the farm or which one of them are sold off, not as meat, but potentially to some other farm. So here's a picture right here. We'll get off of this real quick, but that was them yesterday afternoon eating some grain and then going back to eat grass. And like I said this morning, we're going to get out there and feed them again this morning and check on them. Because that's what we do, and make sure that everybody's okay. The other piece that I just want to bring to your attention is I talked about keeping the heifers and keeping the calves, but I want to go back just real quick if I can and point out when I said rotating the cows through the gate system. That's what I have. That is up to date. That is great. The whole 9 yards. However, there's a new system now that's coming, and that system is where they put a virtual collar, put a collar around the cow's neck that they also get used to, as you can see right there. And that collar becomes a virtual fence. So you can now use your phone where I got to go out this morning and check them and move them to the next pasture. Now you'll be able to get on your phone and say, yep, I want to move them to here. And because of they get used to that collar in the neck, they will actually start moving around. And the key thing I just want to bring to your attention, we'll have these slides up for you, but the key thing I just want to bring to your attention is what you saw that I have when I have the fencing itself. That is a cost. Okay, that's a cost. But now what I'll be able to do if we decide to move to the virtual collars like some of my friends have done is inside of my pallets, I can say, okay, you in there, but instead of having the whole 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 acres, you only have 1 acre for the next 2 hours to eat. And then virtually I can move them a little bit more. Virtually I can move them a little bit more. So it just gives you more control of your cattle. But the key thing it gives you more control of is where they actually eat in the grass and what are they doing. And on top of that, making sure that after they finish eating the grass wherever they're at and pooping, they don't actually go back to that particular spot. Again, keeping the animals healthy, keeping everything moving in the right direction. So I'm happy to see that the technology is out there. Some of my friends on larger farms have already went there, and I'm going to be going down to their farm to get a better understanding of it. But I see us here on my farm maybe about a year and a half from now. Perhaps if you come through here, you'll see where we have the virtual collars on our calves, so that on our cows, so that if I'm not here at the house, I can actually still move them with my phone, which I think is pretty cool. All right, the time now is 7:21. We got about 200 people watching us, so I just want to say thank you for watching our show. I know it's super early, but also let me just look at my notes. I want to make sure I touched everything because I'm moving pretty quick. But I also want to let you know that this coming Wednesday, which is the 27th, at 7 p.m. Let me make sure I say that again. This coming Wednesday, the 22nd at 7 p.m., which is a Wednesday night, we will be doing a special where we're talking about data centers. And in that particular reason why I bring it up on this particular platform is because I know farmers are having a conversation about data centers. Everybody's having a conversation about data centers, but we will have a conversation about data centers with an expert that will help us answer some questions. So please, tell your friends, tune in, and as y'all guys know that follow me all the time, at least once a month or so, I got another series that we'll be talking about data centers, making sure that we're giving out good information. We're breaking up some of the myths that are actually out there, and we bringing in the experts, because I believe that from Voices from the Dirt Road, we need to give you the information that you need to have so that you can make your own decision of what you want to do in your own community. So next Wednesday, July 22nd at 7 p.m. And this will be advertised everywhere. But I did just want to take the time this morning to put that out there so you have plenty of time to think about it, because there's going to be a lot of things happening throughout the United States, but specifically here in Georgia on next Wednesday. So I just want to make sure they don't get lost out there in everything that's going on. So we decided to go on and put it out early this morning. As y'all guys know, one of the things I spent many years in the military. And I have many friends that now they're out. They're doing okay, but some days they struggle, and they struggle with mental health. So I always, and I know that farmers, because prices are extremely high, input costs are extremely high, all kind of things are hitting us. People are stressed out. So I always like to end our show the same way. With probably the most important thing that I'm going to say is, if you're a farmer or you're a family member that knows a farmer and that individual, man, female or male, is struggling, please call 988, because you'll get a live person, a professional that will help you get from today to tomorrow. That's something I've always said when I was in the military. I never wanted any of my soldiers to make a long-term decision for a short-term problem. So if you figure out those words, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, that's the same thing I say to my fellow farmers and people working in agriculture out there. I know it's tough right now. The federal government is trying to pump a lot of money into agriculture because of the input costs, but I'm not 100% sure if the money they're trying to pump in, like we talked about the 7 million and 700 million, then we talked about 500 million. I'm not sure if that money is going to get to everybody in time to meet your particular timeline. But what I am saying is this: if you're struggling, pick up that phone, call that number, get some help, because we want to see you here tomorrow, and because you are feeding the American people. So I know the show was quick. When I look down here at the time, it's 7:25. If they were passing out awards today, I'm not sure if y'all guys would give me an award, but I would tell you all the people that work behind the scenes to help me put this show on, because they got to go and pick up kids from summer camp. They're going to say I'm the best host ever. So with that, guys, the cup is double. Have a great day.